Now in this segment we're going to be talking about the urinary pH challenge, which is not a reality show. Let's talk about our urinary pH, which we were saying was a reflection of what we eat and drink. It's a reflection of what we consume. So we get up in the morning and on our first avoiding urine after having slept at least 5 hours, we're going to take a piece of pH paper and put it in the stream of urine, and we're going to get a reading, and that reading may be, let's say, 5.5, 6.2, 7.2. So what does that mean? What does it tell us about our health? Actually, not much at all. In and of itself, the pH doesn't mean anything at all, but if we knew what we had done in order to get that pH, then we would know a lot more about the condition of our body. So we get up in the morning and on our first avoiding urine after having slept at least 5 hours, we're going to take a piece of pH paper and put it in the stream of urine, and we're going to get a reading, and that reading may be, let's say, 5.5, 6.2, 7.2. So what does that mean? And what does it tell us about our health? Actually, not much at all. In and of itself, the pH doesn't mean anything at all. But if we knew what we had done in order to get that pH, then we would know a lot more about the condition of our body. In general, fruits and vegetables leave an alkaline residue, while fish, meats, grains, and beans will leave an acid residue. So there's someone out there, who's thinking, I just had a good breakfast this morning. I had a whole grapefruit and a cup of yogurt, and I tasted the grapefruit and it was acidic, and I tasted the yogurt and it was alkaline, and you're telling me the opposite. So let me explain how this works. We're talking about the residue that's left from the food, not the taste quality. So here's how it would work. Let's say we got a really hot oven, and we took a grapefruit, a head of broccoli, a potato, a loaf of bread, a block of cheese, an ear of corn, and a chicken. And we put all these things in this very hot oven, and we left them there and just let them cook until they were absolutely charred. They just went right to ash. And then we took these ashes and then we reconstituted them with a little bit of water, and then we took our pH paper and we went back and we tested to see if it was acidic or alkaline. What we would find is that the grapefruit, the potato, and the head of broccoli actually had an alkaline residue, which is greater than 7. And we would find that the cheese, the ear of corn, the loaf of bread, and the chicken would have an acid residue, which is less than 7. So back to this person's, quote-unquote healthy breakfast where they had this grapefruit and this cup of yogurt. What happens is that in the grapefruit, the strength of the minerals within the fruit itself are stronger than the acid that's contained in the grapefruit, even though they seem quite acidic. And conversely, the acidity in the yogurt is actually stronger than the alkalized minerals contained. So that's why the grapefruit left an alkaline ash and the yogurt left an acid ash. Okay, so much for the preliminaries. Now the actual test. What we're going to be doing is consuming a mostly acid ash diet for 1 to 2 days, and for the typical American that's not difficult, because we're going to be drinking coffee, eating donuts or bagels, something like that, hamburgers, chicken, ice cream, pasta, cookies, the typical American day. And we're going to be staying away from the fruits and vegetables, which once again is a typical American day. What we're going to do is consume these things for 1 to 2 days, and then we're going to go to sleep, and in the morning we wake up and we're going to take a sample of our urine, first urine of the morning. We're going to take a piece of pH paper, we're going to peel off about 1 inch, and what we're going to do is dunk it into the sample of urine, and then we're going to take the strip of paper and we're actually going to match it to the color codes on the pH paper container, and then we'll see that, oh, it was 6.0, and we're just going to write that down, and that's the extent of the test. That's all you have to do is, dip the paper in the urine bring it up and match it up to the color chart on there, and then write it down. That's what we have to do. So what do the numbers mean? Remember, we ate this acid-ash diet, right, for a day or two, and then what we're measuring our urine. If your urine came out 5.5 to 5.8, which is the yellow, after eating an acid-ash diet, that's actually a good thing. It shows that you have enough alkaline reserve in your body to neutralize your acids of consumption. So in this case, I would say that's good. Keep up with what you're doing and make sure you keep high levels of fruits and vegetables in your diet. Now let's say that your pH came up more in the range of the green, which would be 6.0 to 6.6. Normally what we're talking about, acid and alkaline, you would have thought, well, it's more alkaline, so that's good. No, it's not true. In fact, it's actually healthier to have a yellow on the pH paper, which would be the 5.5 to 5.8 range after having the acid diet. It shows that when you're in the 6s now, that you're actually recruiting some of your emergency neutralizing system, and that you don't have enough of the regular stores. So by that we mean that you've probably been doing this for a while and you've run down your system quite a bit, and that you're actually probably starting to get symptoms like maybe you're stiff and achy in the morning, or maybe a little grouchy, or you tire easily, things like that. What you would need to do if you're after an acid-ash diet, you produce a green or not quite as acid urine, you need to really cut back on your protein slowly in your diet and increase the fruits and vegetables so that you can really bring up your alkaline reserves. And then the next time you do this test, you'll probably land more in the yellow. What has actually happened, you're thinking, well, this is, it's toward the base, it's toward the alkaline side. Yes, what has happened is that your kidneys, through the infinite wisdom of design, actually convert the acid into physiologic ammonia. And the reason it does that is that the kidneys are trying not to fry themselves, and the acid was so strong that the best thing it could do was neutralize it by converting it into an ammonia. This is a physiologic ammonia. It's not what you would clean your floors with or something like that. If you continued on this path, what you've been doing with your consumption patterns, you're just aching for a disease process to start. So while we spoke earlier that pH is not for diagnosis of disease, it's to tell us what the function is. This is telling you that sooner or later you're going to go for a diagnosed disease if you continue in this path. Remember, this is when you had an this is when you had an acid-ash diet and produced an alkaline urine. So what should a person do that is in this position? The best thing you can do is to immediately start decreasing the strong acid-ash foods in your diet. The strong acid-ash foods would be meats. And instead of doing that, go more toward brown rice and slowly increase to cooked vegetables in your diet. Now, a person in this condition is probably overall too acidic to actually be able to tolerate fruits at this point. So I would say stay off the fruits, use cooked vegetables, redo the test in a week, and then see where you're at. And if you now go back into the green zone, then you'll be able to utilize some of the fruits.